Alright, I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how to show you how to install your own user-defined language files for Notepad++. But today I'm going to show you how to install any language. I primarily made this tutorial for the NES community because I'm using this to show anyone who needs to know how to install the language file for the 6502 assembly, but like I said, this can be used for any language. So first off, what you're going to need to do is go to your app data for Notepad++. So you can do that by going to run, and quick way to do it is just press the Windows key, which is the one with the little Windows symbol, and R, and it'll bring up the little run dialog, usually in the bottom left hand corner of the screen. And type in percent symbol, and then app data, then another percent symbol, and then a backslash, and then about that point you should get a list that'll pop up and have pretty much every program you have, and so you can access the application data for any of them. We're going for Notepad++. We're going to type in N to start off with, and about that point you should usually get it to, depending on how many N's you have, you might have multiple pop up. You can just scroll down and select it, hit enter, and it'll open up a folder. Now, in this case, I already have a user-defined language file, which is, as you can see right here. But some of you might not. Basically, if you're watching this tutorial and do not know how to install this language file, then you probably don't have this here. So it'll probably be an easy fix for you, but you might have just forgotten what to do. So basically what you do is you take if you do not have a language file, it's pretty simple. You just take the file that you have that you want to have the language for. For instance, if I go in here, I've got the user-defined language file right there that I made for the NES. I already have it installed in the other folder, but you just take that file, and it might not have the name user-defined language. It might be like user-defined language underscore 6502. It's usually something along those lines. It'll be user-defined language with an underscore or a space or something, and then the name of the language. That's how I've seen all of them that I've downloaded from the Notepad++ website. So once you got that, you just go to the app data folder, and if you do not have a user-defined language file, all you have to do is take it and then just drag and drop or copy, whatever you want to call it or do, and then it should appear there. Once that happens, if you have Notepad++ already open, you need to close it and then reopen it. Having a little bit of trouble there. Sometimes it's kind of slow, and at that point, you can scroll down here, and right above user defined you should see the name of the language. In this case, I only have 6502 as an additional language, and that's the thing. One of the benefits of one of the things when it's written is in this line right here, user lang, they'll put the name of the language that's displayed up here, and then they'll have the extension. I just wrote 2. I've never actually seen 6502 used, or 650 as an extension used. I've always seen assembly, but I should put that in case somebody wants to use that or something, in case they don't want to get, like, I don't know, x86 or x64 assembly mixed with 6502 assembly. But basically, if you take a file that has this extension, like, just whatever .assembly, and open it up, it should by default open or start using the language settings from that language file. So let's say if you downloaded one for, I don't know, PowerShell, I believe it's an extension of PS1. So if you open a PS1 file, just automatically default go to that. Now, if you already have a user-defined language file in your app data, you might not want to replace it unless you just don't care about the current language, but in a lot of cases you probably do. So you just take that, and you go ahead and I just use Notepad++ because it's just the easiest thing ever. And the first line 1, should be within the, I call it unknown tags from HTML, but you might just think less than and greater than symbols. You should see Notepad++ like this, and see how it highlights. That's actually just part of one of the language settings. It's XML. And you'll see Notepad++ and it goes over, and that's the close, and that's just in between there. Now, the second line you should see user lang, and that'll be the whatever language you have there. You might have 1, you might have 5, I don't know. It's just your computer. But if you have one already in here and you don't want to delete it, what you do is just go to the first line, hit enter so you have a space. Then you just go into the other language file you have for, in this case, if you're reading from the NES community and you want the 6502, you just copy all the contents of that, which in this case you just go from userlang to userlang close right here, and you don't need the Notepad++ part. You don't want that'll mess with it and interfere with it. And then you just go ahead, you just basically take that, copy it, and then plug it in right there. And when you go in next time, you'll have you should see you'd see whatever two languages you have. I'm gonna go ahead and save this. I just want to see if it'll actually show up as two 6502s. And then there you have it. It identifies the second language in there, and it outputs that second one, so you see two, even though they're just both languages. Basically, I just want to say, if you're watching this is for the NES mods and the 6502 language file. I went ahead and wrote this in. I have, as you can see, there's kind of some stuff here. That right there, I haven't taken out yet at the time of this video. I'm going to. I just kind of haven't, but it won't interfere, so it doesn't matter. But so don't be bothered with that. But some of the things, operators, there's none, because there's no like multiply, divide symbols or anything like that used in 6502. There's some kind of clunky with the comment defining in the XML file. For some reason, if I just put nothing, well, first off, the commenting thing for 6502, you might not know, or you might know, all it is a semicolon. For some reason, if I just insert a semicolon in the comment part, it doesn't work. If I put like a 0, it works, and I just left the 1 and 2 there. It's a long story, but that's what's there. Then once we get to the actual words, if you're familiar with the 6502 language, you'll be able to identify pretty much all of these commands, or at least a large majority of them. And you'll see like there's like store A there, store X, store Y, just some of these ones. I kind of made the first section. It's things have to do with like storing data and working with bits, flags, things like that. And I just have that, and then that will be shown in red, as you can see here. With then we go to the second one. It's things like I kind of just call this a movement. It's not entirely what you call it, but say like when you're using like compare, and then you might branch off to a subroutine or whatever, or maybe not subroutine, but new label based on that compare. Things that kind of like move around, like return from subroutine, return from interrupt, and just sort of little miscellaneous things that sort of fit in the category like no operation right here. And that's the second thing, and those are highlighted in a blue. And then the third list is just math things. There's add with carry, decrement, decrement x, decrement y, increment, increment x, increment y, subtract with carry, transfer a x, transfer a y. You get the picture. It's just basic kind of math things in there. And then those are in a kind of goldish color. I figured, bright yellow in itself is kind of hard to see, and I just want to go with kind of a primary color for that. Then you have, here's another thing, keywords, and I have it set as a prefix. As you can see, there's the number symbol, pound, sharp, whatever you want to call it. And there's that same symbol followed by the $sign. And of course, that's if you're familiar with 6502, that's used to indicate hexadecimal. And then of course there's the binary indicator, the number sign, followed by the percentage sign. And then I also have a dot that's used in some things like include binary, when you should up like the INS header, just things like that. And they're shown in this light blue, like an aqua or a teal. Like you see right here, this could be just like a name. I'll change that to like 6502 value of no real importance. So that's just saying that's the number. You could do store A at that, and they'll tell you to go to that address and store it. Include binary. That's like when you're including a file such as the palette, the character file, things like that. And there's just like another miscellaneous command. And then any normal text you have in there, which you actually shouldn't have unless it's you might get with like a label. It's going to be in just plain black. That's actually my homework I just wrote in there on the scratch or on the run or whatever word fits in that sentence. And finally, we also have commenting, and anyone who is familiar with any kind of programming at all knows commenting. That's a lot. You put little bits about your code in there that you little information just to go along with your code to maybe help you figure out some stuff. and that's in a greenish color. It might be a little hard to see. It kind of looks black because it's dark green. Might change that to a light green. At the moment, I believe I've included all commands. I mean, I went through several different documents, and this is all I could find. Some stuff might be a little out of category as far as the way I described it. And if you have any operational codes, opcodes, or whatever you want to call them, mnemonics for them, which is the actual letters as opposed to the hex values, and I missed them, go ahead and submit them. I'm gonna say if they're like I found a nice document. It was undefined ones and some random ones. I think like from the Commodore 64 system. Don't bother submitting those. I'm only including like the main stuff. Trying to stay with 6502 for the NES only. And that's about it. I'll have a link on the side